recording. Yeah. So in yesterday's session, we have discussed about EBS volumes. So in EBS volumes, basically what we tried is we created a EBS volume first, then we attached it to EC2 machine. Then we also know that both the volume and the EC2 machine should be in the same availability zone. So if you create a volume in one availability zone, and if you're trying to attach to a EC2 machine which is there in another availability zone, it will be not, you cannot identify the machine. So what you need to do, you need to copy the volume and move the volume into different availability zone. Then we made a partition of the volume for the new volume what we have created. Then we created a file system. We are mounting the volume to the file system, and we are saving that in FS tab. So these are the commands. So if you see yesterday's video, you can follow, and you can, using these commands, you can create the volume and mount that. And we also seen the differences between different types of storage what we are selecting, like GP2 and IOPS, which is also called as IO1. So how we measure SSD throughput is like in terms of IOPS. IOPS is nothing but input output. Input output processing system, I guess. Yeah, input output per second. Sorry. And in the customer requirement, say for example, if you have 20 TB and if he is asking for 2,50,000, we have seen an example how to what exactly we need to suggest based on the costing and other factors of IOPS and the data model, data size. And these are start shell script. So today's session, what we will see. So today, let us create an snapshot. Snapshots are nothing but the backups. Okay, so snapshots, and let us see how to restore the data. So this is nothing but volumes, and also we will see how to restore the EC2 machine. Okay. So we will see these 2 points. So first, let us see how to restore the data. Okay, so we know how to create volume, right? So you can come here. So you can create a volume, and you can attach this volume to your EC2 machines. So let us create a EC2 machine now.
It's a small doubt.
Yeah.
So these volumes only can be attached with EC2s only. Any other?
See, where you need storage, right? You need storage for attaching either Linux machine or a Windows machine or any server. So when it comes to RDS and other things, they already have their own databases and their own storage systems. So mostly we'll use the for EC2 servers only.
Okay, it's not like we can attach to any kind of OS also, right?
Yeah. See, yes, we have seen example in Linux. In Windows also, you can see the same thing. In Windows by default, if you take this Windows machine, right, you will get 30 GB of the root volume. On this, like this one. So if you see here, you will get by default 30 GB, and if you are adding a new volume, so then you will get whatever your either 8 GB or whatever you are adding. So that you need to do the partitioning as per Windows partitioning. Okay. So
Yeah,
in
got it.
Windows, it's simple, right? Like for example, if you go here now, for me, I have only C drive here. So D, E, like that will partition, right? The same way we have done yesterday in Linux.
Yeah,
Okay.
thanks.
So let us spin up an EC2 machine with T2 micro. Okay. So we will see here 2 things. So one first thing is with the root volume only, we will create the machine. Then we will create a volume and we will attach the volume like how we did yesterday. And one thing is by default, you will get 8 GB of root volume, right? You can make this as 10 GB also. If you do 10 GB, then you no need to do the steps what we have done yesterday, like mounting the machine and attaching to FS tab and all. These steps is not required. By default, your root volume will be 10 GB. So I'll just keep it as 10 GB. So now I'll not add volume here. We'll add the volume as how we did in our yesterday's lab. Okay. So let me give a name here like uh, EC2 example for storage backup. So let me select a security group. Guys, just give me 1 second. Sorry for that. So now we have launched EC2 mission. So let us launch one volume, attach a volume for here, create a volume. So if you see here, this is the root volume. Earlier it was 8 GB, but we have modified to have a 10 GB volume, right? So whenever you create EC2 mission, so your the root volume, whichever is attached to EC2 mission, will be displayed here. Now let us create a new volume. Let me select GB2. So I'll select 2 GB volume. Okay. So 2 GB I want to mount along with the additional 10 GB of the Linux machine. So we have created the volume. Now let us attach this volume to our EC2 machine. So click on attach volume, select the instance, attach. So the volume is now attached. If you see here, it will come in use. Okay. So the volume is successfully attached. Now let us mount this volume like yesterday what we have done, the same steps. Uh, So if you see here, by default, our root volume is 10 GB. This is the additional volume which we have attached now. So now let us mount this volume. So we have disk. So new partition and write the partition. So if you see here, XVDF1 is created as a partition. So let me make this change settings. Okay. So now partition is done. Now let us make file system. I'm using extension 3 dev. So let's create a folder. 2 GB volume. I'll create a folder name, or I'll say like new volume. Just yeah, new volume is here. So now let us mount this volume to this particular partition. So dev XVDF2. Okay, so volume is mounted. Adding in FS tab. It is XVDF1 and the folder name is new volume, right? And extension 3. So this will be same. Okay. So what we'll do here, now let us enter into this new volume. So we'll create some files, okay? Or let us move some files. Suppose if you want to move some files to Windows to Linux machine, right? So we have some different client tools for that, like FileZilla or WinSCP. So you can just go here, WinSCP downloads. Type for here for WinSCP. Click on download and install. Download for Windows. So I have already downloaded here. So my WinSCP setup is already there. Okay. Yeah. So this is my WinSCP setup. So after you download and install, you will get a screen like this. So here select for SCP, give the host name. So this is the host name which you want to connect, right? Okay, it's giving internal IP. We need to provide external IP there. So this WinSCP is just used to move your files from your Windows to Linux and Linux to Windows easily. EC2 user. So password, we are not using username password. So what we need to do, click on advanced, go to SSH authentication. So here you need to, I think you need to provide PEM file. Let's type PPK. Yeah. So try to log in. Connect to, yeah, key catch. Yeah, it's authenticated. So if you see here, so this WinSCP is used to move your files from your Windows machine to your Linux machine very easily. So if you see here, this is my Windows machine, so which you are seeing here. So right now I am in my desktop. So you can see all my files, whichever is on desktop is listed here. So like this, I can go to different folders like downloads or wherever I want. So and here you can select, this is my Linux machine which I have spinned up right now. So if you select root folder, so you can see all the folders which are already available here. So for example, we have created new volume, right? So this new volume is nothing but which we created right now. So nothing is there inside this. So let us select some few files. I'll select this. I'll move it here. SCP new volume training. Permission. Okay, so here we don't have the write permissions. So what we'll do, chmod 777 new volume. So we provided write permissions. Now let's try this again. Yeah, so like this you can move files. So let me move some few files here, like lab notes, Groovy testing batch. So yeah. So if you see here, I moved some few files like August training batch Word document and Google Analytics code.txt. So Groovy testing batch and labs. So on the anydesk.exe. So these 5 files I have moved here, and you can check it in your Linux machine. So cd new volume list. So if you see here, so all the files which we have moved from our Windows, it's available here. Now let us say, let me type lsblk. So now what we have done, so we have done a 2 GB of volume you have created, and you have attached this volume to this EC2 machine, and you did a partition and mounted the partition to your new volume folder. And we have created few files into this particular new volume folder. Now let us do one thing. So go to us notebook. So what we are going to reach, how we are going to do this one. So first step is create a volume, and mount with new folder. Let's say new volume. Okay. So then let us take a snapshot of this 2GB to this new volume folder. New volume 2GB. This 2GB, right? Oh, the memory what we have taken, 2GB volume. So after taking a snapshot, so let us come to this Linux machine, delete all these files. So after deleting the files, now let us restore this data. Okay. Navigate back to Linux machine and delete all the files in new volume folder. Okay. So later what you need to do, so create again a new volume with same 2GB of data and mount to EC2 machine. So while creating this volume, you need to attach the snapshot. Okay. So these are the steps which we are going to do now. So I'm just trying to put it here so you'll have better understanding. Then attach the new restored volume to the EC2 machine. Check the restored data. Restored data and copy back to root volume. Okay, so these are the steps we are going to do. So till now what I'll do a quick recap what we have done. We launched the EC2 machine. After launching EC2 machine, so by default we had 8GB. Along with that 8GB, we added 2GB of volume. We created 2GB volume and we have attached this volume to this EC2 machine and we made partition to this volume. Later, we created a new volume folder, right? So here we moved few files. It might be any data. So for here, for the demo purpose, I moved some 5 random files which are there in my Windows machine to this Linux machine. Till here, any doubts? Okay. Now, what we are going to do, so we are going to remove this, take a snapshot, because what exactly we are doing here, we are trying to restore the data. How exactly we are going to restore the data or a volume of a particular EC2 machine, right? So now what we will do, so go to your snapshots here. There is option of snapshot under EBS. Yesterday we have seen volume. Volume is nothing but you are adding your storage from your storage area network or a network as a storage sites to your EC2 machines. Now, if snapshots are nothing but the backup of your mission, just keep a backup as a reminder in your mind. We will see how the snapshot actually work later. Now let us see the lab first, then we will see how exactly this snapshot is working in background. So when you click on create snapshot, there will be two options for you. Select resource type, either it is a volume or is it an instance. So what we need to select here. So we are trying to restore the volume, right? Volume data,
Yeah,
which
volume.
yeah. So you need to select option of volume here. Then you can select which volume you need to restore. So if you see here, we have given 2GB volume. So let me take a duplicate. Go to your volumes here. So if you see, this is the 2GB volume which we created. Okay, so this is your volume ID. So copy your volume ID here and try with here. So your volume ID is E63. So your 2GB volume is also E63, right? So select your 2G volume here, which you want to take a backup. So because we have, if you see our Linux machine, we created our new volume folder inside this 2 GB one. So now we are taking a backup of this one, means these files should be taken as a backup in our snapshot now. Okay, so give the description, taking backup of 2 GB volume. So just give the name. So now the snapshot is created. Okay, so don't worry how this snapshot will work in the background. Like yesterday I explained how EBS is assigned, how instance store is assigned to EC2, right? Like that snapshot also has some working methodology. Let's see that later. So first you understand how to take a snapshot. So when you're trying to take a snapshot, for the first snapshot it will take too much of time. I mean, not too much, it will take some time when compared to a snapshot when you're taking for the second one. That's, we'll see how why it is taking that much time at the end of the session. So if you refresh here, yeah, now the snapshot is available. Okay, now let us go to this EC2 mission, delete all this data whatever we have kept inside this folder. Then we will restore this snapshot to that particular EC2 machine and get this data back. Okay, now let me remove these files. Stop. So if you see here, in under new volume, I deleted all the files. Okay, so no files are there in this particular new volume. Clear? So if you do lsblk, so this is our volume which we had now taken the snapshot. So under this volume, we have a new volume folder. In new volume folder, now we deleted all the files which were there. So before deleting files, we have taken the snapshot of this particular mission. So how do you attach, restore this snapshot, right, back to your EC2 mission? So come to volumes, create a volume again. So I guess you can take directly from here, restore snapshot as well. So create, you can either create from here or you can create from here. So both are same. So create the volume. So if you are creating from there, you need to select from which snapshot you are taking. If you are creating from here, by default snapshot will be loaded. Understood this concept? Now GP2. So one thing you need to keep in mind is, say for example, you have taken a snapshot of 10 GB one. We have taken 2 GB one, right? Now if you want to take a snapshot of 1 GB, it is not possible. Why? Because the size of a volume can only be increased, it cannot be decreased. So if you want to restore the snapshot, right? So 2 GB one, either you can take only 2 GB or you can increase the size as well. So now let us take 2 GB only, and it is in same availability zone. Let's give the name as restoring the data of 2 GB. So, okay. So any doubts here? So what we have done, we have taken snapshot, deleted the data. Again, we are creating a volume from this particular snapshot which we have taken before deleting the data. So now we are creating the volume. So volume is created. So if you go to volumes, a new volume will be there. So this is your new volume. So you can see it is available. Now attach this volume to your EC2 mission. Right click, attach volume, select your EC2 mission. Okay, attach. Now if you go to your EC2 mission and type lsblk, a new volume will be available here. Okay, so this is your new volume. So for this one, you no need to do again all this fdisk and all. Why? Because this is a backup of this particular 2 GB volume, right? So by default partition will be there. Only thing what you need to do, you need to mount this partition into a local file system. So for that, just type. So first you create a folder in local mkdir. Sorry, let me come out of new volume folder. So here, restored files I'll keep. So mkdir restored files. I'm creating a folder here. Okay, so I need to mount this restored files for this particular new partition. So the new partition is xvdg1. If you see here, the earlier one is xvdf1. So now it is changed the name of this disk file. So how to mount? Use the mount command dev, and this is your disk. Yeah. So after this one, so what is the folder? Restored files. You need to, you are mounting it here. So once you mount, so then go to your, check what is there in that mounted folder. See, you have got all your files, right? So what, these are the files which we have taken a backup before we deleting from this second volume. Clear? So let's go to this. So now what you need to, what you can do, so all these files are there in the same EC2 machine. So copy the files which are required from here to this particular new volume and delete this volume. So that is how you can take a snapshot of your data. Now let us do that one. Let's move all these files. Move restored files to new volume. Device or resource PC. Okay. So CD restored files. Move files to new volume. Target direct not empty KCH more 777 to new volume. Yeah. So if you see here, we moved all the files from restored files to new volume files. Now what we will do, we'll come and we'll unmount this one. So we already mounted, right? So if you do lsblk, so let us unmount this drive. Okay. So after unmounting, then you can go and delete that volume. Then your data will be there in this new volume folder. Okay. Now to unmount, use the command u mount, which you need to be. Okay. Unmount is done. Come back to your volumes. Select the particular volume, detach volume. It should come to available state, then it, yeah, so it is available. Now you can go and check here. Your mount will be, you have only two volumes here. One is the root volume which your operating system is running with 10 GB. The another one is 2 GB. So you have restored your files to new volume. So already in restored folder, so you got your restored files. So let me give a quick recap what we have done. So we have spinned up a EC2 machine. So once we have spinned up the EC2 machine with a 10 GB of default volume, okay. Later you added a volume of 2 GB volume, okay. So in this 2 GB, what we have done, you have created a folder, new volume folder after mounting and doing the file partitioning. So in this new volume, we have added few files from my Windows machine. So any data, it can be any data. So for the example one, I have moved quickly some 5 files using WinSCP. So now these files are available in this particular volume. Let's say you want to take a backup of this volume and delete. So for taking a backup, what we have done, we came to snapshots. We have selected the particular snapshot and taken a backup. create a snapshot and taking a backup. So after taking snapshot, what we have done, we have deleted all the files which are there in the new volume. So once the files are deleted, then we came back to restore that files. What we are doing, we are coming back to volumes, creating a volume. After creating a volume, so we are attaching this volume back to EC2 mission. So after attaching, we just mounted with a temporary restore folder, restore file folder. So then we have moved this restore file folder from the new partition to our actual partition. Then we unmounted the file system and we deleted the volume. This is how you take a backup of your data. Okay, any doubts here? See, if you are not familiar with the commands, just try to practice our yesterday lab, whatever we have done a couple of times, at least 2 to 3 times, so that you will understand how the partition is happening and LVM logical volume manager is working and all. So this is not something which is related to AWS. This is purely Linux. You must have a Linux knowledge when you're working on such type of attaching a storage to Linux machine, then unmounting, then removing and all. So why we are doing all these things is, so for example, you are allocated to a project in future, right, where you are working for AWS one. So you have a EC2 mission. Your EC2 mission will have by default of 10 GB or 8 GB, whatever is spinning on. All of a sudden, you have your project's requirement to increase the storage for this one. So then your either your technical lead or your manager will ask you to mount of 10 GB volume. Okay, you will create a volume. Then after creating volume, you'll attach the volume. If you attach the volume, it will be not directly mounted, right? So then you need to log into this mission and perform these operations in order to mount this particular volumes to this particular EC2 mission. Okay, also restoring and all, taking a backup on. So this is how you take a backup. Right now we have seen how to take a backup and how to restore the backup back to this particular EC2 missions. So these backups will be taken daily, guys. So here we have seen manually, right, how we are taking a backup. So this will be automated here using the AWS has provided lifecycle manager. We will see this one at the end of the session, how to automate the taking a backup process and restoring backup process. Okay. So questions before we see how to restore a EC2 machine. Any questions?
Yeah, Harish, when we are creating this snapshot, there are two types. One is volume and another one is instance.
Yep.
That we will be discussing further. How?
Yeah, so see snapshot, see taking a snapshot of instance you don't do here, so we will see that in a different way. Okay, you can do from
Okay.
here as well, but
I mean, if I 1 second, sorry, if I correlate with the AMI, then what is the difference? Because
so
AMI also is a
AMI is
snapshot kind of.
same. See, AMI is same. Like AMI is nothing different. When you are trying to create an image from your EC2 mission, right? We'll discuss that. That's what we are going to discuss next.
Okay. I mean, there are different kind of snapshots are available, is it?
No,
Like, because for DB also, RDS also, there will be snapshots, right? Those
see,
are different from
yeah.
than this.
See, that is, see, this is a snapshot of your volume. You are attaching some storage to your server, right? You are taking a backup of your storage and you are restoring the backup of your storage. Snapshot is nothing but backup. Just keep in mind, it's a thumb rules. Snapshot is a backup. So you are taking a snapshot here means you are giving option, right? For which you are taking the snapshot. You're taking a snapshot of volume. Means for the storage, additional storage, what you have attached to your EC2 machine, you are taking a snapshot.
Yeah, yeah.
The
This one,
snapshots what you take in RDS is a snapshot of your database. That is
okay,
something different. Okay.
okay. I
Okay.
thought snapshot would be global. It may we may take RDS
See,
volume or anything like that.
yeah, concept of snapshot is same. What we're doing here, we are taking a backup and we are restoring the backup whenever we want. Same thing we will do in database as well. We'll take a snapshot of database and we'll restore the snapshot of the particular RDS whenever we want. So that's what snapshot concept is same everywhere, but here
Okay,
they have given in EC2 a different snapshot which is specific
okay.
to these volumes and instances.
Also, I have a doubt actually.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
we create a volume like around, for example, I have created volume
Mm.
unknowingly like 50 GB, but I later I came to know 10 GB only necessary that I can reduce that volume size.
See, that's what you cannot reduce your volume size. You can increase your volume size. If you want to reduce your volume size, what you need to do, take a backup, take a snapshot, whatever the data is there in that particular volume, then create a new volume of 10 GB, then copy that snapshot here, then delete that volume, older volume. You can go
Okay,
and
okay, I
unmount and
got.
you can delete. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
So
That one
AMIs we
instance
have
one
seen.
only,
Sorry.
I'm not clear. That will
Yeah,
be discussed.
instance one we will be doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Harish, in that example, you can also spin up a new volume and move the data across.
Yeah. See, that's what. If you see, you click on volume, create a new volume. After creating a new volume, what you need to do? You need to right click, attach this volume to a particular EC2 machine. Once you attach, then you need to go to your instance and just mount it. So if you attach, you will get only the disk here, right? With the disk, you cannot do anything. You cannot store the data on the disk. So first you need to do partition of that particular disk. Then you can do.
Okay.
Okay. So.
Okay. You can't access the volume if your instance is not running, right? You need.
No. See, how can you see your this volume is something related to a server, right? Either Windows or Linux, something like that. You want some image or some server to be running to access this particular data. Okay.
And just another question, right?
Yeah.
But can you attach same volume to two machines?
No.
Because it's only one instance and one disk.
See, just think theoretically or practically, whatever it is. You have a laptop with you. Volume is something nothing but your hard disk drive, right? So can you attach the same hard disk drive for two computers at a time?
No, you got to access it. Okay, yeah. So you can access it, but you can't mount it on the machine.
Correct.
You can't access. You can access it,
yeah,
but you can't mount it on the machine. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
One second, Harish, I have a doubt. Like after Ryan asked.
Yeah.
So the thing is, generally, if it is shared location, generally if it is a memory, it is like volume only, right? So we can mount like in different machines. Like, why can't we do this volume part into different machines?
See, you can mount to any mission. If you're taking a volume for this for 2 GB, right? Now what I can do, I can detach this volume from this EC2 mission and I can attach this volume to any EC2 mission. But at a time, you cannot mount it for multiple instances, right? So for example, you have a computer in your home, so you will have a hard disk, right? You can connect one hard disk to your to one computer at a time. If you want to move the data to another computer, what you'll do, you'll just remove the SATA cables whatever connected to your hard disk, and you'll move it to another machine, right? Same way here also, you can take the data, keep it to a new machine, but you need to attach and detach when you are doing that to multiple instances.
Okay. I was just okay. Yeah, we'll have a practical thing on it.
Yeah. So you need to do the lab for this. So that's why you'll understand. So you can create 2-3 volumes, try to attach that volumes, take a backup of that particular volumes, then again try to restore that backup. Then you will understand the actual concept, how it is working with EC2 missions. Okay. So if no questions, so let's move on to how to restore the mission. So for example, we have a instance here, right, which is running here. So if you want to take a backup of this complete instance, so there are two ways to do this one. So your instance will have a snapshot created by default when it is started. Okay, we have detached this, sorry, volume, right? Yeah. So your instance will have a volume which will be created by default. Our root volume is 10 GB for this mission. So it is created. So now we can create a snapshot for this root volume and restore this mission. But don't follow this method. So if you follow these methods, so whatever the softwares you have installed or the configurations will be missed in your instance. So but you will not get the AMI, the mission operating systems, whatever operating system you're using, Linux or all those you will not get. So what I suggest you to do is go to your instances, select your instance, right click, image is there, create an image. Here, give the details like, so before creating image, let's do one thing. In this EC2 machine, let us install some servers, okay? So that whenever you take a backup of this image, right? When you deploy a new mission from this image, we will check whether that servers also is existing in that particular image or not, okay? That's the test what we are going to do. So go to your EC2 machine. Let us install some Ninjix server. In update. So now I have installed the Ninjix server and I have started the service. Now you can see here using this public IP address, you can see your server homepage. Okay, your server homepage is there, right? Now when you take a backup of this particular EC2 machine, you must after restoring the mission back, right? You must see the server page again. Okay, so one more command, guys. So like check config Ninjix on. So if you don't give this command, your Ninjix server will be installed, but the service would be not started. So I'm giving this check config as well. Okay. So how to take a backup, right? So go to your EC2 machine, right click, go to image, create an image. So when you create image, two things will happen. One is the snapshot will be created, then AMI will be created. So give the name for this one. Backing web server instance. So here you have two options, root volume, which is 10 GB of our Linux volume. And also you have the additional 2 GB volume, which we taken, right? So now if you don't want to opt this 2 GB volume, you can remove this one. And then you can only take the backup of this root on this Linux AMI image. So create an image. So when you create an image, if you go to AMIs, and if you see here, your AMI is getting created. So let me close this one. So your AMI is getting created here. And also if you go to snapshots, you will get one more snapshot here. After creating AMI, the snapshot will also be created. So before that, let's go. It should be active, I guess. Then only it will be. So by default, when you're taking the backup of an instance, right? AMI backup will be created. AMI is nothing but Amazon Mission image. So with this image, the snapshot also will be created. Okay. So if you see snapshot, come on. So once this AMI is ready, snapshot will be available. So by default, whenever the user will, so next time, say for example, you want to go and spin up a EC2 machine, which will have an Ninjix server and some default user data, right? So then you no need to always go and install it from yum update and all. So you can directly create an image like this AMI image. Then you can create an instance from this particular AMI image, and you can start using directly for your development or for your application. So now it is available. Now if you go to snapshots and refresh here, a snapshot will be created. If you see here, created by create image snapshot. So by default, this snapshot is created for EC2 server. Okay, EC2 server snapshot. So this is automatically created. When you delete this AMI, right, this snapshot also you can delete it. I guess it might remove automatically, or you can delete this snapshot as well. Otherwise, if you try to restore this snapshot with a different EC2 machine, then you in the EC2 machine where you are taking the snapshot and attaching, there all the servers or softwares, whatever we installed in this particular Linux will be restored. Okay. Now let us, now our AMI is ready. Now let us launch a new server, or either you can kill the server as well, the existing server, and we can create a new server. Okay, let us go to instance, terminate. So if you see here, now I deleted this complete Ninjix installation the server. Now I will try to restore this server from the AMI which we created. Okay. So go to the AMIs. Either you can click on launch instance, and after launching instance, you can select here from my AMIs. You can see here the AMI created, or you can also select from cancel here. Go to AMI, right click, launch. So from here also you can select, so that directly it will come to step 2. Okay. So select T2 micro, public subnet. So 10 node. So go to storage, go to tags, name restored EC2 server machine. So go to your security groups. Okay. So if you see your instances, the earlier instance is terminated completely, but before terminating, we have created an image for this particular instance. When you created image, by default, one AMI will be created to support the AMI is nothing but your mission image, right? So whatever your operating system, you have selected Amazon Linux operating system, right? Amazon Linux operating system. Along with that, whatever the user data is there, along with that, whatever the user installed softwares are there, right? User installed softwares. So all those will be created as a snapshot, and that snapshot is stored here. So if you go to snapshots, you will have that particular snapshot created. So if you see here, this is a snapshot which is created for that particular image. Any queries here? Now what we are doing, so after creating this snapshot, we have terminated our previous AWS image. Now we are creating a new image from our existing image what we have taken backup from. So either you can create from here, or you can also create during the selection options. So let us remove this one. Now let us go to our EC2 dashboard, go to our instance. So this is the restored EC2 server mission, right? So if you copy this one and try in browser, it's running. So a backup of your earlier EC2 mission, what you have taken, in that we have installed this Ninjix web server. So this web server is also copied in your new image, whatever you have taken backup, and it's running in the current one. This is how you can take a backup of your Linux mission, which will contain your operating system, your user data, and your any other things which you kept in your root volume. Okay. Questions now? See, in some projects, right, where I mostly wherever I have seen, so they don't take backups for the complete image like this. They only take the backup of root volume sometimes, and because the operating system and they will not keep any data. They'll just keep only web servers. For that web server, they can spin up with from any AMI which already they created. So because just to save the some memory, they will be creating. And one thing I need to tell is snapshots. If you go to snapshots, right, you can see here 2 GB, 10 GB, right? Don't assume that your snapshot size will be 2 GB. This is the size of your particular volume, what you have taken backup. This is not the snapshot size. snapshot size will be around, 100 KB or 500 KB or 100 MB or 500 MB. That's different size. Whatever the backup image of this particular snapshot will be a different size. This size is nothing but the snapshot what you have taken for your volumes or EC2 instances. So questions?
So you're only charged for what is the actual volume of the
See,
site?
normally these snapshots and all will be saved in S3 bucket, Ryan. So S3 bucket charges, it is free to store. While retrieving, they'll charge that. So for this process and all, it will be not charged. Okay. So for volumes is, volumes, whatever the data you take, 2 GB or 10 GB or whatever. Yesterday we have seen cost calculator, right? If you take 20 TB, whatever the charge for data, that will be charged. But for snapshots are stored in S3. So if you go through S3, you can see the snapshot stored there. Okay. So that S3 charges will be there. And this lifecycle manager, we will see after this, after taking, if any questions is there. After lifecycle manager is nothing but, if you want to take a backup of your data every day, right? Every day at 12 o'clock, you need to take a backup. So you cannot allocate a resource to sit manually and take backup in this EC to follow all the steps what we have done now. So earlier what we were doing is, before lifecycle manager, as recently 1 year back it came, before that we were writing a Lambda function to take automatic backup, and we are writing a script, shell script, which will trigger that all the commands which we are writing, and that Lambda function, if you trigger that Lambda function, then the backup was happening and storing in S3. But now they in AWS itself has given option for a lifecycle manager. This will do the job for us. This we'll see it later. Okay, questions here? Okay. Are you clear with all your questions regarding instances, Kiran? Backing up instances?
Yeah, Harish. So my understanding is like, so taking snapshot of instance instead of that.
If you take the image, right, the advantage is you will get all the softwares which you install, and in, for example, in ETC folder, right, whatever the data you kept in this ETC folder, all those data will be restored, so that whenever you spin up the instance, right, so the complete setup will be there. You can directly go and start working. You don't need to do any initial configurations.
Yeah, thanks, Harish.
Yeah. So now let us see this lifecycle manager. So lifecycle manager, as I told, right, so it is used to automate taking a backups. So
Harish, images also are stored in EC3 bucket.
Which one, Ryan?
Images also are stored in EC3 bucket.
Image, see, image is nothing but AMI, right? So this AMI is nothing but a snapshot. When you create, see, when you create image, AMI will be created. Okay, if you come under AMI, you can see option here. This your AMI. For this nothing but a snapshot. You can see that snapshot here. Created by create image snapshot. These is the snapshot details.
Okay.
Whatever you take, either instance backup or a volume backup, snapshot will be created. From this snapshot, AMI will be created. From AMI, you can launch instances instantly.
Perfect. So when we spin up a machine, we have the drive on the instance as well, right?
Yeah. So
the SSD drive.
Yeah.
So that becomes part of the AMI instance, which is the image instance.
Yeah, you will be taking a backup of that completely, right? So for example, if you're taking image backup like this, create image. So you are taking a backup of this one, the root.
This one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So because your operating system is running on this root volume, right? So you are taking a complete backup of this one, so that you will be able to restore everything.
Restore initially. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So if you see lifecycle manager, right? So you can create a snapshot lifecycle here. So either you can configure here to run daily, weekly, hourly, or however you want. Now, say for example, let us give everyday backup of 2 GB volume. So this is my name. So for example, we have 2 GB partition which we attach to EC2 server, right? So if I want to take a backup of this one, I am just give a description, and you need to select either you need to take a backup of volume, or if you want to take a backup of EC2 instance also, you can take it, or you can everyday backup of EC2 server machine. Okay, so I'm selecting the instance, and see tags, as I told earlier, right? You need to give some tags for your EC2 mission. So now let us come back to EC2 mission, go to your tags. Now let us add some tags here, create tag. So for example, you have some set of 10 devices, right? But you don't want to take a backup of all 10 devices. So then how can you differentiate them is using, you can keep a tag like backup, and you can make it as yes. So for remaining missions which you don't want to take backup, keep it as no. Okay. So you can here, you can differentiate with tags here. So drop down, go to backup, and the value is yes. So now the this job will run only for the missions which has a name tag as backup, name key as a backup, and value as yes. So now let us give a name here. So here you can give your schedule. Either it is a default schedule, either you want to run daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, or you want, if you want to do some custom cron jobs, you can write your custom expressions. Okay. So here, if you want to do daily, up to from 1 hour to 24 hours, you have option. 1 hour to 24 should be there. Daily. Yeah, drop down. So if you say select 24, means for every 24 hours you want to take a backup, then at what time you want to start a backup. So let's say if I want to say at 21, 21 this 24-hour format, time format, and retention count means how many you want to retain. Like for example, if you want to retain for 90 days, you can give a retention count, or you can give the age as well. So for example, this interval will be, let's keep 90 days. Yeah, 90 days. Or if you want to store for only for 4 weeks, after 4 weeks, if you want to discard this snapshot, you can do like this. Okay. Then IAM roles, this we for now keep it default. So then other information, these are optional information just to identify your one. And policy, this don't worry too much about, just keep on enable policy. We will see when we are discussing about policy generator. Okay, in S3. So once you create this lifecycle policy, then it will be active. So based on your configuration, automatically, if you come to your snapshot dashboard, here your snapshots will be created. So by like this, every day your one snapshot will be created as per the configuration what we give now. Okay. Questions here? See, this is no cost. See, one thing you need to understand, to creating this job and all, they don't charge you. But if you create this job, so, for example, every day one snapshot will be there. Or end of the week, 7 snapshots will be created, right? These 7 snapshots will be stored in S3. So for that, AWS will charge you. But for this, it is free of cost. Lifecycle manager, creation of snapshots is free of charge. Okay. Questions? If you come to EC2 dashboard, as I told, key pairs, security groups, placement groups, only these 3 are free of cost. Ensure that before you terminate your lab, make sure other things are zero, turn to zero. Okay.
Harish, so whatever you explained that, right? So that a snapshot, will it stored in a S3 bucket?
Yeah. It stores in, usually by default, it will go and store in S3 bucket. Let me open. This is a new console. I have seen this. come on. Feature for go to buckets. I guess I have renamed some policies because of the policy generator. It is not storing here. We will cover that in our S3 class, Ravi.
No problem.
Usually, the snapshots it will be stored in S3 bucket. See, any operation in AWS, right? Either it might be EC2 or it might be VPC as well. If you go to VPC also indirectly it will go and depend on S3 to save. We will see that in S3. So, for example, why I didn't cover some topics in VPC options. So for example, select a VPC here, August 1st, right? If you see here, there is option called flow logs, right? So if you create a flow log, these flow logs will be enabled in our stored in our S3 bucket. I intentionally didn't cover this one because while covering S3, we'll cover all the remaining parts. Okay.
Okay, Harish.
So yesterday I was doing some lab with S3. I was playing around with policy generators. Maybe I would have rejected to save the default snapshots there.
No problem, Harish. Just I want to know that. So
Yeah, yeah.
where it's storing that.
Yeah, it will be stored in a EC2 server.
Oh, thanks, Harish.
Yeah. And so how these snapshots are getting saved, right? So if you want to understand, so for the first snapshot when we created, right, it for 2 GB also it took some time, around at least some 30 seconds it took. But if you take the other snapshot, it immediately yeah, the snapshot will be created. To understand that, AWS snapshots explained. So go to the documentation here. Yeah. So if you see this diagram here, so initially, let's say you have 10 GB of volume. So when you take the first snapshot, right, all the 10 GB of volume will be taken backup. That's why your first snapshot will take some time. After that, let's say you have you want to take a backup again. You want to take a backup again. So now let's say there is only 4 GB of data which is getting changed. So for the second time, only 4 GB of data will be taken backup. Remaining whatever 6 GB is there, right, which is not changed. So that will be referred in our previous snapshot as well, previous snapshot only. Say for example, again you have a requirement, again you're taking a third snapshot backup, right? So third time what will happen? So here, come on. So here, third time, say for example, only 2 GB of data is getting changed. So in the third time, only 2 GB of data is taken backup. Remaining, if you want a second backup, it will go and verify for the second one. If you want the first backup, it will go and verify this one. So that's how incremental backup is happening in snapshots. So 11:10, I'll try to quickly cover this lab, one lab for this one. So to understand how this exactly snapshots happening. So let us launch this, login to this EC2 server. Oh, we don't have that volume, right? So let us do one thing. Attach this 2 GB volume. Yeah, partition is already done here, so we just need to mount this one to our data. So mount dev xvdf1. Shit, let's create a folder before that. Mkdir new volume. Okay, so what we'll do, we will create 4 folders like this. So we'll create one folder, second folder, third folder, fourth folder. Okay, so after creating first folder, let us take a snapshot backup here. Okay, then we'll create second folder. After taking creating second folder, let's take a other snapshot backup. After creating third folder, let's take a snapshot backup. Now let us restore this snapshot, the final snapshot, and verify whether these two changes are available. Okay, or let us restore this snapshot and verify whether this changes is there. This changes will be not there. Why? Because while taking this snapshot, this change is not available. Only this and these changes are there. So to understand this, the diagram, right, what we have seen here, so this to understand this diagram, so we are doing this lab. Okay, so can you practice, or do you want me to do this one quickly? So create 4 folders here. So mkdir snap 1. Okay, so create a file here, nano test file 1. There is no snapshot. This is initial file. Okay, similar. Now take a snapshot backup. So when you take snapshot backup, this snap 1 should be available. Okay, so go to your snapshots here. So create a snapshot, give the description snap 1 of 2 GB. So now create a second folder. Mkdir snap 2. Let's create one more file here, nano test file 2. So this is a file which is created before taking snap 2. Okay, now let us take one more snapshot here, snap 2 of 2 GB. Give the name for this one. So like that you create for third. Let's stop at third one. So cd, okay, mkdir snap 3 cd snap nano test file 3. This is file before snap 3 backup. Okay, now let's take third snapshot here, snap 3. So if you see here, we will have 3 snapshots here. Okay. Now what I will do, I'll remove all these files inside the new volume. CD. So let us see CD. We have 3 folders, snap 1, 2, 3. So let's remove RM. So now I removed all the files here. Now let me restore this one. So what I'll do, if I want to restore, which snap I'll go for directly for snapshot 3. Okay. So what we have done here. So let me take. So this is first mission, first snapshot, second snapshot, third snapshot. So here we created a folder and a file. Here we created a folder and a file, and here we created a folder and file. So after first snapshot, we have taken a backup. So that backup is nothing but snap 1 of 2 GB. Okay, this is the first one. And we have created a second snapshot, which after creating second folder and second file, which is nothing but snap 2 of 2 GB. Okay. Third one is after creating third folder and third file, we created a snapshot of snap 3 of 2 GB. Now, if I am replacing this snap 3 of 2 GB, okay, listen carefully. If I am replacing of snap 3 of 2 GB, will I get this data and this data?
Yeah.
Yes, we should get it.
Yeah. So as per their documentation, what they're telling, doesn't matter how many snapshots you take. What we do is, whatever the changes you are taking in the final snapshot, only those changes we will be taking into the new snapshot. Remaining changes will be there here. But I have a question here. So if I go on delete snap 1 and snap 2, what will happen for snap 3? Will snap 3 will have the data of snap 1 and 2?
No.
Yeah, technically it should be no, but what AWS is doing is, as per their documentation, let me remove this one. So if you see here, deleting a snapshot. So while deleting the snapshot, right, what exactly they're doing is, whatever say for example, you're deleting second snapshot. So whatever the data is available from second snapshot, they will move to third snapshot, then they delete this snapshot. So the third, if I back up third snapshot and delete 1 and 2, but this 1 and 2 data before they delete, they move to this one and then they delete this data. Okay. So you can verify under this one. Okay. Just go through this. It will take around 5 minutes to read this theory part. So just go to this documentation after you've done the lab. Okay.
Does this apply to the snapshot 3 as well, Harish? Like if you delete the third one,
if you delete
that will
the
be referred
third
back
one,
to.
yeah. So for example, let me go back to here. Yeah. So if you see here, if you delete only the third one, only the third folder which we created, that folder will be removed. And first and second folder will be still available. So let's say this is first folder, this second folder, and this third folder. So if you delete this snapshot 3, only this third folder and the files which are related before taking this backup will be deleted. Or if you're taking, if you're deleting first snapshot, only first, but still the data will be there in third one. See, third one is the highest one, say 1, 2, and 3. Let's assume you're deleting this one, but still these 2 are there, right? So these 2 will contain whatever the data they have. But another case, 1, 2, 3, if you're deleting the first one, this first one data will be moved to second one. Still 2 and 3 is there. So when you take 2 or 3, both the data will be available. Another scenario, 1, 2, 3. So if you delete the third one, first and second is available. Whichever you restore, the data will be available to us. Now let us restore any one and we'll see so that you have better understanding. So I will take a snapshot of this one, snap 3 of 2 GB. So I'll create a volume, 2 GB, same zone. Restoring snap 3. Now the volume is created here. Attach this volume. Go to attachments. So if you go to this Linux machine, so now we got a new partition here, xvdg. So partition is already available. So we need to create a local folder, kdir. Let's say restoring snap 3. Let's mount dev xvdg to snap 3. So list restoring. Oh, so we have taken the
Harish, I feel like
yeah. See, we have taken the partition backup of this new volume. We have taken partition of this the another this restored files, not for the new volume. So we should have taken the snapshot for that, because under new volume we have created all these folders, right? So you should have taken snapshots for this one. You try this one, you try this, and you let me know if you have any. So clear here. So what we have the mistake, why we are not able to get this snap 3s is we have not taken the backup of new volume. So we have taken the backup of the other partition, the restored partition, which we have done earlier. So that's the reason. So try creating a folders. One folder, take a backup. So here we have, right? Yeah. So create a folder. So this is under new volume. So if you're creating under new volume, so make sure that you create a backup here after creating a snap one folder. Take a snapshot here. Snapshot I'll mention like this double arrow mark and line. So after this one, after create a second folder, second file, take a snapshot. So similarly after third one also take a snapshot. So try to restore this third snapshot, which we should have all these both. Then second use case is then delete all these things. Second use case is try restoring second snapshot, which should have 1 and 2. Okay. So after doing all these things, right, delete snapshot 1 and snapshot 2 under your snapshots, restore the snapshot 3 and make sure all these 3 files are still available. So take this as an assignment and try to do, if you are facing any issues, just feel free to call me. Tomorrow anyways it's weekend, right? I'll be available. So try this lab. Okay. So any doubts here or queries?
no, Harish, thanks.
So Namita, are you clear with this restoring backup and snaps concept?
Yeah, kind of, Harish. I'll just give a try with this one, which
Yeah.
you just explained.
Sure.
If I have any issues, I might just reach out to you.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Today is already almost 11:26. So I try to cover this one more concept which left out in EC2 before we start load balancer and auto scaling groups. So that is nothing but key pairs. So how to copy one key pair from one location to another location. So this we will see in tomorrow's session. Along with this, see, we need 1.5 hour session for load balancers. Okay, and so we cannot complete in 1 hour or so we need around 1.5 hour. So I don't want to club this load balancer to with any other concept. So let us in tomorrow's session, what I'll do, I'll take key pairs, and the session manager is there. So session manager is also an important topic. It will be under systems manager. Now, if you want to do some simple command, you are taking putty client and you are logging inside putty tool and you are executing the commands, right? So session manager will help you to automatically fire those commands directly from your session. So that we'll see in tomorrow's session. Session manager and key pairs will be our tomorrow session. So then we'll have load balancer and ASG.